I have grown past the point of being able to be shocked. Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. And as per usual, before we launch in, today's video is sponsored by American Hartford Gold. Now, as some of you might remember, back in March, I was permanently banned on Patreon. And what a good time that was. For those who aren't familiar, Patreon is a membership platform that allows people to donate and support creators. Creators can post exclusive content there, updates, etc., whatever they so desire. Or they can use the platform the way that I did and post absolutely nothing. I'm still sorry about that. After being permabanned, I was thankfully able to make a subscribe star, link in the description if you're interested. And of course, it goes without saying, but all of my love to anybody who has contributed or who continues to contribute. You guys are great. I am very grateful. Big smooches to you. This is odd. So I made a video about my dealings with Patreon, and in that video I go through the various emails I was sent by the platform, their lack of actual reasoning for banning me, and some other troubling things I found out after the fact. For example, Patreon confirmed to me in an email that they take anything and everything you do off their platform into consideration when it comes to banning you. I do have to admit that when I found that out at the time, I was surprised, although I don't know why. As I endlessly remind you, this is hell. Obviously, the whole thing was not my favorite, and you know, I was especially disturbed by the fact that I couldn't tell my patrons what had happened. I wasn't sure if Patreon was still collecting money from them, and the whole situation overall just made me really uncomfortable. And like I mentioned, I am very thankful to everybody who has supported me on Subscribestar, where I am equally as bad at posting. But since all of this has happened, I've come to find out some very disturbing information about our friends over at Patreon. You know, besides like deleting right-wing creators simply for existing. We've known for quite some time that platforms like Patreon are not neutral, despite their claims to the contrary. That much is obvious in who they police and when they police them. But very recently, some information has come to light that made me realize that this is so much worse than it appears on the surface. Patreon came into the news cycle after it was announced they fired their entire security team out of nowhere, which is not terribly uncommon. Big companies do weird crap all the time, usually to hide something. This prompted people to look into the company a little bit more. And what they found was a now viral and deleted post from an ex-employee. It contained accusations that Patreon was or is forcing trust and safety team members to overlook fan of the playground content on the platform and protect minor attracted people. I hate it here. Are you picking up what I am putting down? They banned little old me for being an egregious person, for doing a hate speech. While simultaneously protecting fans of the playground and those who like fan of the playground content. No, friend, you cannot donate to your favorite right-wing creator, but you can look at content of child prawns. Aren't you lucky? So that's what we're going to talk about today, because there is so much hypocrisy here. I've been on the receiving end of it. And you know, in addition to warning you all, I feel like every time we lift up a rock, there's another predator under it. So there you go. Let's discuss it, because this is way too common, and I don't like that. But before you once again board my hell gondola and we slippy slide ourselves down into the chasm of depression, let's hear from today's sponsor, American Hartford Gold. Do you like bread lines? Cutting off all your arms to run your car? Having nothing with which to buy the bread that you're in the breadline for? Sydney, that's really grim. No, you do not. Which is why you need American Hartford Gold. American Hartford Gold is a terrific way to invest in physical gold and silver. Precious metals are great for a bunch of reasons. They are a stable investment, independent of government control, pretty bloody inflation-proof. Basically, gold and silver perform well even during times of total economic collapse. And given that it's a physical investment, you can bury it in your backyard or even trade it for fuel rather than cutting off your arms. American Hartford Gold can walk you through the process of purchasing through them, no matter if you're a seasoned investor or a newbie, like me. They can help you diversify your portfolio with physical gold and silver. You can have it delivered right to your door or inside your IRA or 401k. And they're private. Your investment can't be tracked or traced and is secure from government agencies. So if you too want to have physical, expensive things and $1,500 of free silver on your first order, then click the link in the description or text Sydney to 65532. You can also call them with the number on screen. On September 8th, a former security and privacy engineer at Patreon posted on LinkedIn that the entire Patreon security team had been let go. A day later, Patreon confirmed that in an interview, saying they fired several employees and they partner with a number of external organizations to continuously develop their security capabilities. We really love some vague language, don't we? This was undoubtedly the catalyst for what was to come, because shortly after, a review from August made by an ex-trust and safety employee at Patreon on a website called Glassdoor, which is a job review platform, began circulating. The post, which, like I mentioned, seems to have been deleted, says that the employee worked at Patreon for over a year. It reads, "We are being told specifically by management and executives not to take down content that is illegal or was reported as sexual in nature involving minors unless the police make contact with legal or we have an order by a court. When others try to inform management, there's an amalgamation of accounts that are selling lewd photographs of what appear to be pudding people. All concerns are dismissed. It's all about advocating for customers who are minor attracted persons. This is no way to run a company. This is no way to allow children to be exploited on our platform like this." Under advice to management, it goes on to say, "Have federal law enforcement investigate the company because there's no way what we're doing is legal." You know, my favorite time that federal law enforcement investigated the exploitation of pudding people was from that situation that rhymes with Meffrey Schlepplein. It's too soon. I mean, I'm just saying. Maxwell is probably the first person in history who's gone to prison for selling minors to no one. Now, this review could very well be from somebody who was spurned by the company and is now making things up. That is entirely possible, and it does happen. And it likely could have been dismissed as such if it weren't for several people who've been trying to shine a light on this situation for quite some time. And I will once again take this opportunity to remind you that people just like me and just like many other creators are banned from this platform for expressing pretty run-of-the-mill normal right-wing opinions. And if this post is true, it means that management is actively protecting and advocating for fans of the playground. But like consensually, because leftists really care about that. Pronouns in bio? Sir, look at as many child prawns as you want. A TikToker called Ben Hughes made a 2-minute video summarizing what I just summarized. Hughes asks why someone at Patreon would leave a review, followed by the entire security team being fired only a month later. After Hughes's video went viral, people focused their attention on a February TikTok made by a woman called Sarah Adams, who claimed she had discovered an account that produced inappropriate material of young girls operating on Patreon, and subsequently cataloged her difficulty in having Patreon remove the content.
This one really gave off like a trafficking vibe. It was very, very uncomfortable. So I started looking at the comments and I saw that people were asking about her Patreon. And I'm like, what? So I went over to Patreon and this is what popped up. First, it asked me if I'm 18 plus to view this content. What the hell? This is a child. And then it says 2,300 people are signed up for this. So everyone tag Patreon and ask them what the hell is going on their platform. How are they allowing this to happen?
It's pretty self-evident, but just to walk you through it again. The girl in question is a literal child whose followers must confirm that they are 18 plus to subscribe to her. And she has, at least in this clip, around 2,000 of them. You do the math. After attempting to get this page removed earlier in the year, Adams eventually received a message from the platform saying that the creator of the page was verified as over the age of 18 and no violation was found.
So my conversation with Patreon continues. Here's the update. Today I received this email that said the creator in question has been age verified and is over the age of 18. I personally have never seen an 18-year-old look so young in my life. So I was like, okay, age verified process on Patreon. What is that like? Let's find out. So I click around and it's pretty hard to find anything about how they are verifying people's ages other than just clicking a button and saying, yeah, I'm 18. However, I did find that due to new MasterCard requirements, they announced in fall 2021 that they will need the submission of government-issued identification. However, current adult 18 plus creators do not yet need to submit identification. So my question is, if government issued ID is not needed at this point to verify age, how did you verify this creator is 18?
Well, you see, we live in a time period where you can just identify as 18. That's how I hear so many children are having their body parts hacked off. Stop trying to get us banned! Yet another TikToker, and I think this is the first time in my life I'm nicely using TikToks and not making fun of them. Weird. This person made a video exposing more of these inappropriate Instagram accounts that link back to Patreon. His assessment is that parents are likely using these accounts to sell images of their pudding people to fans of the playground.
This video is from one of the Instagram accounts I believe is participating in this, and I can't imagine that this video is created to appeal to anyone other than someone who is attracted to young underage girls. And this is the profile where she claims to be a young Euro model managed and monitored by mom. And she has over 75,000 followers. 75,000 followers who are apparently interested in images such as this and this. Once again, I can't imagine this was created for anyone other than people attracted to children. And that is not even the worst of the images on her Instagram. But if you click that link, it would take you to her Patreon, which, by the way, you have to click and accept that you are about to see material that is 18 plus. And there, for a monthly subscription fee, you have access to over 850 images of her that can't be posted here. Now, her account has been reported to Patreon several times, and Patreon maintains that the owner of the account is at least 18 years old.
This video goes on to say that maybe this is a case of fan of the playground baiting, where someone is of age and edits themselves to look younger. I actually covered this woman in this picture in another video about this exact topic.
But don't forget, she is managed and monitored by mom, who very well could be the owner of that Patreon. And I say that because I find others who are definitely using that loophole. Like this account with 157,000 followers, whose Patreon is called a family channel. Yet the promo video for that channel is only that young girl, offering photo sets such as swimwear, on the beach, and pool photo shoot extra. And despite claiming to be a family profile, her Instagram is nothing but pictures of her in bikinis, with the exception of this recent post where she celebrated her 12th birthday. Her Patreon has over 1,400 images that apparently 158,000 people are interested in seeing.
On a serious note, I don't think enough people stop to think about just how common this is. I've been covering these stories and these cases for a couple of years, touching on weird incidences that I come across, but the reality is this kind of content is incredibly easy to access. And I feel like I'm on some sort of list for just looking at it to make these videos. Why would you be on a list? The authorities are in on it. Have you not been paying attention? Mefri Schlepplein. Now, Adams did note that the account she reported back in February was actually deleted by both Instagram and then later on by Patreon. But within a very short space of time, that account was back on Instagram under a different name, and I made the fatal mistake of asking for that Instagram account, which I then went and looked at, and let me just I can't show you, obviously, but it is just a huge collection of young girls in just not okay poses, and the pictures either have tags or are cross-posted with other accounts that lead to similar content. I even looked at the Telegram this account had linked, and it's just, it's more or less straight up softcore prawns. That's the best way I can describe it. And this was monetized and even defended by Patreon. Similar to what Adams noted, and not because I have anything to base this off of, but this also gives me a trafficking vibe. And in fact, while I was collecting my B-roll to make this video, I went onto Patreon and found that this new Instagram account had also set up another Patreon. And it's like there's like whack-a-mole. Like you squish down one and then like two more pop up in its place. Is that how whack-a-mole works? I don't know. Some of these TikTokers have pointed out, and I think it's worth repeating, that Patreon has images and posts that are only accessible if you are a subscriber to that creator. So what you're seeing publicly is likely not nearly as bad as what's behind the paywall, which should fill you with a lot of confidence. And by confidence, I mean the desire to burn it all down. The last thing I'll note is that Patreon did not hesitate to ban me from their platform. However, when it came to an account with potentially exploitative material and potentially illegal material, they waited months and months and months before they did anything at all. And while Patreon is now setting its sights on banning even more creators across the political spectrum, especially those who stand up for biology, it allows YouTubers like this, Banji's Comics, to post content on the platform coming out as a map. Or, you know, fan of the playground? What? In fact, the introduction message on this account says, "Last year, I came out as an anti-contact, non-offending map in order to be a positive, visible role model for young maps." I like how this person specifies young. My current project, a science fiction graphic novel titled Paths, features a map as one of the main characters. There are several videos and comics referencing maps. This individual is very open about it on social media, including Instagram. The crap I have to scroll through for you guys is just...
My name is Maiti, my pronouns are they, them, and I'm a minor attracted person, or map, or that has nothing to do with adults and children having sex.
Get your mind out of the gutter, people.
It's just a sexual orientation, okay?
If I get copyright claimed for this music, I swear to God. But as you can imagine, Patreon is by no means the only platform selectively banning users on an arbitrary, seemingly political basis. And actually, while I was looking into this, I realized there appears to be a common theme of genuinely illegal or a fan of the playground material flying under the radar while platforms target dissidents from mainstream narratives. Let's take Etsy and Shopify just for example. In 2021, Shopify banned Trump's official merch stores. In the same year, it banned a lesbian feminist who was selling her arts and crafts for transphobia. And at the same time, a Dutchman was using multiple websites hosted by Shopify to sell dolls of pudding people for inappropriate purposes. You can probably guess what those are. In one product listing, the doll's vaginal depth is measured. It also notes that the doll does not have an oral or anal function because she is too small for those. After an investigation by journalist and Redux founder Anna Slatz was conducted and the man received a ton of backlash, he took his services elsewhere to a private invite-only service. But make no mistake, Shopify did not act in any way. And Etsy has acted similarly. It banned evolutionary biologist Colin Wright for selling merch associated with his blog under its hate speech policies. And again, shops were allowed to exist and continue to exist on Etsy, where they sell the aforementioned dolls, as well as providing children with tucking underwear. And these are specifically for toddlers. Tucking is the action of taking one's man pickle and then tucking it up where the sun don't shine to feel like more of a woman. Although not once in my life have I ever had to do that. And I feel pretty womanly 100% of the time. Just saying. My point of bringing all of this to your attention is not to highlight that these weirdos exist on these platforms. We know that they do, and we know that inappropriate things go on, and most of it, all of it, is absolutely not okay. But to learn that it is either encouraged or at least overlooked by these platforms is deeply, deeply concerning. While they're banning us for wrongthink, they're allowing people to sell dolls that look like pudding people with vaginal depth meters or participating in the trafficking of young prawns. Again, I get banned for hate speech, but it takes Patreon 6 months to delete potentially illegal material of pudding people off their platform. So there you go, yet another example of this, yet another platform standing by while it happens, and in the end, I'm glad that we can draw more attention to this, bring it into the light, bring it into the open, so that eventually, hopefully, we can do something to stop it. Now, I open the floor to all of you. What do you all think? Do you believe that there is a correlation between the entire security team being fired and the Glassdoor review about maps and the like? What do you think about Patreon supporting this kind of content? Do you believe that they're doing it intentionally? Do you think that it's just sort of a byproduct of being on the internet? What do you think of these Instagram accounts that link back to Patreon, that raise money on Patreon for potentially illegal exploitative material? What do you think of the Etsy and Shopify situation? Is that crazy to you? Is this just to be expected at this point? And what do you generally make of this issue overall? As always, if you like the video, hit subscribe and the thumbs up button. If you want to leave a comment, feel free to do so. Just be respectful about it. And I will see you guys next time.